Hello, folks. Another day in paradise, I guess is what this is called. September 1st, 2023. I guess yesterday, the day before, the Biden thuggery administration ordered that a gate in the wall in southern Arizona be open and welded open. They said it's for the, migration of antelope. Those antelope look exactly like illegal aliens with backpacks on them and walking upright and coming into our country. Maybe they identify as antelopes. But this is a blatant violation of federal law. It's like, okay, screw you, screw anybody. We're just going to open gates and weld them open. We don't need to tear down the wall. We'll just open everything. Oh, and speaking of the wall, he's selling off the wall that we paid for pennies on the dollar. I wish Trump and his wealthy buddies would get together and buy all that material, give it the state of Texas, and then help pay to finish installing it along the Texas border. I'd say Arizona as well, but there's no way in hell that lunatic governor is going to ever let that be done. So there's a good idea right there. Instead, we always sit back and say, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it other than think for other people. So if somebody knows a millionaire or a whole bunch of millionaires who are patriotic, get online and buy that material that the Biden thuggery administration is giving away for pennies on the dollar and give it to Texas and help get that wall put up. No law against you doing that. None at all. So anyway, that's just a suggestion. I'll mention that to some other people that can make a phone call and have it happen, but so far they haven't been very helpful. Actually, haven't been helpful at all. So the invasion continues. The murder of our citizens by illegals from all over the world, the death of our people from fentanyl. Keep in mind, a lot of things that killing people with fentanyl, they don't even know there's fentanyl in it. They're lacing stuff. Don't put it past the Chinese government to lace the pharmaceuticals that they make for us, especially the widely used ones. Kill off tens of millions of people overnight. Don't doubt it. Y'all have to start thinking critically outside the box. I know that's hard for a lot of you to do because, you got to think these evil thoughts. You don't have to. I'll do it for you. Okay? I was raised by evil people. I'm used to it. And when I say I was raised by evil people, that is not an exaggeration. It's 100% fact. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Maybe you Patriots want to unite about something possibly along the way while you still can. And speaking of uniting, why aren't you? The most powerful people on the planet, because you own this government. You could shut this government down tomorrow and fire every single elected official, and they will have to comply. They're only there because you give your consent via your vote for them to govern. You can withdraw that consent at any time. It does not have to be an election day. Air your grievances, which there are many, and order elected officials of this government from Biden on down and every member of the Biden thuggery administration to vacate their offices immediately. Hold special elections in every state. Trust me, you're not going to get people who are going to go there to do bad things after you all just stood up and exercised your authority over them. Do you understand what I'm saying? You all must stand up and exercise your authority, your legal, rightful authority over your government. You do that one time, they're going to be like, okay, do I want to spend $5 million on this campaign and then do what the other guy just did who was thrown out of office by the people, given 20 minutes to pack up and get the hell out? Do I want to do that? Nope. No, not at all. Because you all exercise your authority over your employees. Either you don't know you have that authority or you don't care and you don't organize. You can organize. You can do it. It's been done before. You just have to just start doing it. Shit, we started the Tea Party online in a chat room. Literally. That's where it started, in a chat room. Why can't we do that again? I never liked the name Tea Party. I wanted a different name for it, but I was outvoted. I wanted like We the People or Patriots Unite, at that time, even then. I wanted something that was more inclusive to everyone. So I just thought Tea Party had the wrong, single note message. Oh, it's just about taxes. No, we were more than just about the $1 trillion Obama BS. It was more than that. Anyway, so I was outvoted. But the point is this: we can do it again. I understand that a lot of you and a lot of the Tea Party members, especially active ones, the ones that were in it from day one, we got our audits from the IRS. And it scared the hell out of pretty much everybody in the Tea Party. That's why you don't hear anything about them anymore. They basically disbanded. So it worked. The Obama scare tactics and weaponizing the IRS against that organization worked. Wow. Now think about it. If our people, which I would say, don't do this. You need to unite, stand together, and fight back. If we'd have done that, I'm convinced we'd be in a different situation in this country right now. If the millions of us in that movement would have stood united and had strategies, which I had, but I can't implement strategies on my own. It takes all of us to do it, to be impactful. We would have stopped the audits. That would have happened. We would have became stronger in doing so. We would have brought more people into our movement because we showed strength, courage, and unity. Instead, they folded that fast. So that chilling effect is still right now in this country. Well, remember what happened? Oh, some of you don't even know what happened to the Tea Party. Probably don't even know anything about it. Well, that's another part of our problem. But do a little history, a little checking on it. So anyway, been there, done that, tried to make a difference. IRS is weaponized against this, shut it down. Now we have Biden 3.0, Obama 3.0, his third term. Weaponizing the entire justice system against anyone who disagrees with them. Obviously, that's worse than the IRS. That's bad enough. But now you got the FBI. You've got Soros prosecutors all over the place. You've got the entire Department of Justice working against us. Our Attorney General working against us. Of course, the Biden thuggery administration working against us. What are y'all doing about it? Really? Nothing. Myself and a lot of people every day take time out of their day. We do the research. We get online and we talk to our people. I know one guy who screams at everybody. I usually don't do the screaming. But he literally yells. He does a podcast 3 times a week. And I know him personally, met him several times. Decent guy, but he's literally one of those guys who doesn't know what he doesn't know. And you sure as hell can't tell him anything. Me, you tell me something I'm not aware of, I'm going to investigate it to find out the veracity of it. If it's all legit, I'm going to plug that in to my existing knowledge base and incorporate it. Makes me more effective, makes me more knowledgeable. Other people, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can lead a lot of people to information, put it right there in front of them. You can't make them read it. You can't make them comprehend it. You can't make them do anything with it. All you can do is make the information available. Most people, and I've experienced this sadly multiple times, well, my entire adult life, but multiple times in the last month or so. I research, I find out information, very pertinent information. And it needs to be shared to the right people. I contacted people that can pick up the phone and make those calls. They don't. They don't even bother to read the information that's verifiable. Example 2, USC Section 7. Read it. Spread the news. All right, I'll tell you what's about, but you're not going to believe me, so go and Google 2 USC Section 7. Yes, it'll take you 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay. It's a federal law stating when federal elections are to be held. Now, people are under this misimpression, this misguided impression that the states have total control on how they handle their elections. Well, yes and no. It is in the Constitution that Congress, from time to time, may make changes to how states hold their elections depending on need and circumstances. Well, the need and circumstances arose in 1845. The history of it all is before 1845, the states could vote for president or representatives, because originally you couldn't vote for senators. Those were picked by the state legislatures, within 34 days of the first Wednesday of December. Well, by the time 1845 rolled around, our communications had sped up dramatically. So the states that were voting early, they'd already done their voting. Now the states that are voting later, it was affecting their turnout. It was having an effect on the outcome of the election. It's like one state says, oh, well, this guy over here, he's winning in these 4 states. And, well, we haven't voted, so let's get him vote. Or it works the other way around. Oh, well, there's no reason for us to vote because these 5 states have already voted their electoral votes for this guy. So you see how it would affect the outcome of elections. So they stopped it. And they put it on one day, the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. And they did that for multiple good reasons, which I'm not going to get into, because you can read it yourself. Or Google, why are elections held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November? It'll take you maybe 10 minutes to read that. Educate you. I know I'm saying horrible things, reading and education. I know. But see, these are very important things to know, and that you share them, knowing something. To me, when I learn something, if my newfound knowledge can benefit others, I want to share it. What's the point in knowing something if you cannot share it? Now, when I know things important, like, yes, we have a federal election law, when nobody else talks about it, Trump doesn't know about it. He was, again, giving a speech a while back saying that if he's back in the White House, he's going to get 1 day for federal elections, and everything in paper ballots and hand counted. So therefore, he doesn't know that we already have 1 day for federal elections. So what he needs to do is know about this and enforce it. Those elections in 2020, 2022, in every state that had early in-person voting and mail-in voting. That was illegal. Don't count. It was fraud. And again, the states do not have the authority to ignore federal law. They can't say, well, we got an emergency, so we're going to ignore this. Hell, people, they don't even know it exists. They think that we have that election day as a tradition. No, we don't. We have it for a reason, and it is a federal law, which was updated in the 1870s after the Senate. I forget what constitutional amendment it was. It then required the election of senators by the people of the state instead of legislatures. So it was updated then to include that. So, and I checked to see if it was suspended. No. And I would have heard about that. That would have been a big, big thing. Hey, these states are asking, the Congress is going to suspend this because of COVID. I didn't hear anything about that. I would have heard about it. That would have been big news. Trump would have been all over that like stink on you know what. It's like, whoa. You want to suspend that? And this is the reason why we have it? This is the very reason why we have this federal election day. It's supposed to help us to limit fraud. So see, this information, it's really important to share with your neighbors and friends. Put it on your social media account. Share it. You never know. It might end up in Trump's email box where he reads it. Could happen. We don't know. So don't sit back there and say, John, there's nothing I can do. I just gave you an assignment. It's really simple. 10, 15 minutes of your time, then spread the knowledge. Knowledge, especially good knowledge, it's no good to anybody until it is shared and used to the benefit of everybody. This is how I am. Most people in my life have disagreed with me. It's like, well, if I don't want to share it, and even if it could help somebody else, I'm not going to. I don't have to. Says, no, you're right. You don't have to. But what kind of prick are you if you know something that could benefit your fellow man and you don't share that information? Again, you're a prick. If you do that, you're a prick. You're an asshole. I don't want you in my life. I don't want you anywhere around me. Because if my neighbor, my friend, somebody I know has information for me that I need, and they think, well, this could help John, and then they don't tell me about it, and then I go ahead and act on my current level of knowledge, and then later on I say, well, I could have told you about this. It's like, could have? Why didn't you? Well, you didn't ask my opinion. It says, I don't need to ask your opinion. If you have information that'll help me or anybody else, don't wait to be asked, because you're not being asked because they don't know enough to ask. You see? Say, well, John, you didn't ask my opinion. I said, I didn't know I needed to ask your opinion. If you have information for me, share it. Then it's up to me what I do with it. But this bullshit, well, they didn't ask for my opinion, so I didn't give them. Hey, it's my opinion that this bridge is out right now. Nah, John, you don't know. Just keep your mouth shut. It could be anything. It could be anything that you don't share, information you don't share with the family, friend, or loved ones. And what if it's information that if they would have had, they'd still be alive today? Or wouldn't be in the hospital, or would have any number of horrible things happen to them if you had shared information with them to benefit them. And if they choose to ignore it, that's on them. I'm just a different breed of person. I will share the knowledge, do with it what you want. It's like I would tell my ex, I said, geez, it's not a commandment. I'm just throwing this out there so you're aware of it. You do with it what you want to do with it. But at least my conscience is clear because I told you. Of course, 99.999% of the time she would ignore it. And then she'd end up in peril of some sort or another. And then say, well, why didn't you tell me, John? I says, well, I did. But you chose to ignore it. Typical. I'm just not that way. Like I said, I hear something different information for the first time. I'm going to investigate it, determine if it's legitimate, and plug it into my already existing knowledge base as appropriate. You'll need to do the same thing. It's not really work. It's kind of fun, actually, as you're building your base of knowledge. But again, it's not any good to have all this basic knowledge when you can't share it. So you need to share these videos. You need to share to USC Section 7. Those of you who may be in the media, you need to do a report on it. Because this is serious stuff. They're going to hold another illegal election in 2024. Now, for those of you who might have caught Tucker Carlson's interview with President Trump, I'd imagine probably most people did. They're up to 260 million views right now. The most viewed anything ever in the history of mankind. Pretty damned impressive. Anyway, Tucker finally arrived at my way of thinking about Trump's safety. For months, and I've been on podcasts and I've done a radio show about this, that I'm concerned about Trump's safety. They're not going to let President Trump win this election or allow him to enter the White House. They're not going to do that. They will kill him first. This is what Tucker was saying. Are you concerned about being assassinated? Well, he didn't freak out or anything. I think he knows President Trump knows there's a real likelihood that will happen, which would be really unfortunate, not only for him and his family, but there would be no way that our people would martyr him. There'd be no way that they would finally stand up and take down the deep state communist. No. They just look around for somebody else that's going to save their ass. That's what our patriots would do. Well, anybody else want to come out here and save our ass? Everybody's like, no. Look what they just did to Trump. No, we don't. See, that's the ultimate chilling effect. You understand what a chilling effect is? Gotta hope so. That's the ultimate chilling effect against everyone. And Trump is in real danger of this happening. It's even exponentially worse because his so-called patriots, the 74 plus million who voted for him, they're nowhere to be found. With every indictment, we do nothing. There should have been 100,000 people surrounding every one of those venues where Trump was indicted, at least. There's nothing. The left is sitting back going, damn, we can do anything to Trump. And his supporters are like, so what? So do you think he's going to not be convicted? Of course he's going to be convicted for probably everything, even though none of it's a crime. I speak out against the election fraud all the time. According to this lunatic in Fulton County, I'm a criminal because I speak out against the results of that election. Never mind the fact that for 20 plus years, the DemonCrats have been criticizing every election they've lost since Al Gore cleared to President Trump. I remember all this real time, but now, some people's put together some reels, several minutes long, of one Democrat after another, from Hillary to former President Carter to John Kerry, you name it. Just said this election was stolen, to Stacey Abrams, who still says her election was stolen in 2016. No, nobody on our side said, you know what? That's illegal. You can't say that. You're trying to overturn the results of the election. We're going to prosecute. No, because that's not a crime. Trump was challenging the votes of the election. Every right to do so. Georgia didn't even operate within their own state laws. An election that close with that much BS, and there was BS. I believe that their state law required a revote. Didn't happen. Hold on a second. Okay, now let's call the DemonCrats what they are. They're bullies. The people on the right, they're the victims of the bully. Now, like any good bully, as long as the people that they're bullying keeps not fighting back and does what they want them to do, which in their case, they want us to do nothing. They want us to fear them so much that we don't stand up to them ever. That's what bullies do. They're not going to quit. You can't negotiate with them. You can't talk them out of it. They must be stopped. There are ways to stop them. But you all, you're patriots in name only. You're pinos. And it hurts me to have to say that. If you're offended, you should be, because you're part of the problem. Now, look, folks, there's at least 75 or 80 million of us people who are like-minded and who don't want anything to do with the Biden-Thuggery administration and this bullshit that's going on. So what legitimate reason do any of you have for not uniting, developing strategies? I'll do it for you. I'm not a shy guy. I think, I study, I analyze, I strategize, and more importantly, I know our enemy. I was raised by the same mentality, the same people. I know them. So I know how to get at them. I know how to push them into a corner and they'll come out swinging and missing you every time and just making one mistake after another. Then you got them. We don't do that. You have to ask yourselves, what do you want for not just yourselves? What do you want for your children and your grandchildren? Do you want communist China here? Because that's the direction we're going really, really fast. For you all to say there's nothing you can do about it, I've given you examples of what you can, should, and you must do. You can reach out to me. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is JBD10611. I have a lot of videos there about a lot of different subjects. Okay, lots. I will introduce you to things and different ways of thinking that I promise you have never heard from anybody ever. When I was on the campaign trail last year and I'm putting out some of these policy things, the changes I want to have done, people are like, why the hell isn't anybody else doing this? It's because they don't think. They don't have a clue. I've tried to share these ideas with our elected officials, but good luck having an actual sit-down meeting with them or actually getting them to do something. Because they're not there to do anything. They're there to collect their money. That's what they're there for. They're not there to represent you or me. But you all keep voting for the same rhinos, the same failed legislatures year after year. You have to stop it. So we need an army. The bigger, the better. I also developed a plan. I call it the lazy patriots way to defeat tyranny. Because our side always has excuses. Well, I got to go to the ball game. I got to take the kid here. I got to go to work and blah, blah, blah. Really? None of that matters a damn when you lose your country. Well, that's irrelevant. So I created the lazy patriots way to defeat tyranny. You have to share it. I don't have an advertising budget. I do have people watching my videos. They're really lousy at sharing them. Again, your sharing is how we share knowledge. That's how we get a movement going. Okay? It's really an easy thing to do, to share. So for months, telling you people, great, you're doing a great job on boycotting on Bud and Target and all that. That's wonderful. You're targeting the wrong industry to boycott. You can continue to boycott with these people. They deserve it. the main industry that you must boycott is the news industry, which is owned by a small conglomerate of companies, about 6 of them. They are your cable and satellite providers. They own a lot. Disney owns a hell of a lot. So taking Disney down completely, see, about half their income comes from their parks. I was doing some research on that. And so y'all need to stop feeding the beast that's destroying us. Stop providing them the money to operate these news networks that lie to the entire people. Half of the people believe the bullshit. They've been indoctrinated to believe that the right is always wrong. We're the problem. The left is always right. They're never going to lie to you. Man-made global warming is real. We're all going to die in a couple of years. Oh, wait. We were supposed to be all dead in 2023 now, according to what's that one chick out of the Netherlands? Her name, Greta Thunberg. According to her, we're supposed to be dead now. Her words in 2015, I think it was, said in 8 years, if we're not off fossil fuels, we're dead. Yet another one of their predictions that did not come true. Not a single one of their alarmist predictions has ever come true. Yet you all keep going, oh well, okay, whatever. The biggest scam in the history of mankind is man-made global warming. And if you all don't know that by now, well, why don't you? Oh, I know. You're saying, John, I'm too busy. Really? So you're too busy to pay the hell attention to see what these lunatics want to do to you and your family. This isn't about stopping man-made global warming because there has never been such a thing. This is about straight up control and population reduction, people. Now I want to hear some feedback from you guys. Go to my Facebook page, Patriots Unite, your host, John Dady, D-A-D-Y. Leave some comments. Do you really think, A, there's such thing as man-made global warming, B, that we can power our economy on wind and solar and the few hydro dams that we have? Do you really think that we can do that? Because we can't. Common sense and common knowledge says no. Of course, people tell me, John, what you consider to be common knowledge isn't for most people. I don't understand that. I don't understand why you all don't know what I know. I don't get it. Anyway, we can't power the country on renewable resources. When I talked to a couple of electrical co-ops in Missouri last year during the campaign, they verified my suspicions on it straight up. They said, no, 20, 25% tops is the best we'll ever be able to do. And that's it. Everything's running perfectly. I asked one of these guys. It's okay. Just say their job as a co-op is to provide affordable, reliable electricity and natural gas to their customers. And I was speaking specifically to 2 different electric cooperatives in the state of Missouri. So that's one guy said, what's going to happen when EPA says you got to shut down all of the coal burner plants right now? Next month, they are going to be offline. He says, well, I hope that doesn't happen. Says, it can happen. He goes, yeah, it could. What will your reaction be? Keep in mind, he has a legal obligation to his customers to provide them this power. And we all know what will happen. Well, maybe we all don't, because most of you took off that thinking cap probably before you got out of high school and college, and you haven't put it back on since. Without reliable, affordable power everywhere, people will die. It's just that simple. This man knows this. I says, okay. So he's getting really quiet on me. He says, sir, what would your reaction be if the Biden Obama administration told to the EPA said you have to shut down the remaining coal burner plants and natural gas plants that provide the power to your co-op? He said, well, we have a duty to our customers. I says, yeah, you do. They literally rely on you for the power to conduct their lives, for heating and air conditioning, and for hospitals, and to keep produce fresh. Just you can't. And this society is built on Tesla's invention of alternating current. And the whole world runs on that. The whole civilized world runs on that. And trust me when I tell you, the third world countries wish they could have power, but we don't help them to do that. So this gentleman's like, well, if they did that, we have to keep. We couldn't do it. He says, okay, great, good, right answer. What would you be willing to do? They're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks, and they would. He had no answer, and I really don't have one for him either, other than you have to stand fast. You cannot give in to your bullies. This is what they want to do. We just lost another coal plant over here in Illinois, late last year, early this year. An Ameren plant. They don't have anything to replace it with. So this is a planned reduction in affordable, reliable power, which the final outcome is millions of people die. It's that simple. You can't get surgeries. You can't go out and plant in your fields because you can't get your diesel. Everything runs on electricity. And they'll say, but it's okay. It's all right. Because they got enough of you convinced that we're all going to die in a few years anyway if we don't stop using fossil fuels. So they have got that indoctrination so far along in the last almost 4 generations now that they're betting on you all, that enough of you will sacrifice yourselves for the good of the planet. Ask yourself if you would do the same thing. If so, why? And don't be saying, oh, well, John, they never do that. Bullshit. The World Economic Forum, the former financial advisor, or whatever their version is, Secretary of Commerce, something over there in Germany. I forget her name. And it's not important. But the WEF, World Economic Forum, they should call it a WEFU, World Economic FU is what it should be called. But you all don't know anything about it, so you wouldn't know it. So now I'm going to tell you. They started a campaign late last year, early this year. I've seen the commercials for it. Very slick. And it's targeted to people at 65 or older, or getting to that age. And their spiel is, you've lived a long life. So they're showing all these people, obviously well-to-do, well-dressed, about 65 or over. And this lady, this former whatever from Germany, said, you've lived a long life. Don't use resources for you. We're short on resources. We need to save those resources for the younger generations that have a lot more life ahead of them, that have a lot more to contribute to society. Your abilities to contribute to society is very limited right now because you're old and you just can't do these things. So you're consuming resources. So at 65, you've lived a long life. All the indications and insinuations are you should be dead. You should kill yourself or allow yourself to be killed because you are using scarce resources that the younger generation, who's more productive, they need to have. Yeah. It's real. It's there. So part of the plan is get y'all believing that we're all going to die. Well, according to Greta Thunberg, we're all supposed to be dead this year because we're still using fossil fuels. 2015, look it up. She said we're going to be dead in 2023 if we don't stop using fossil fuels. Your favorite bartender, AOC, said what, about 5 or 6 years ago now? It's been a while. That in 12 years, we're all going to be dead if we're still using fossil fuels. So according to the genius AOC, we got about 5 or 6 years left and we're dead. We can't go back. The world will end because we are still using fossil fuels. Y'all believe in that bullshit. Don't take them like, oh, well, they're crazy. That's not going to happen. This is what they have always counted on. It's us not believing their BS. I've been to plenty of the Democrat meetings. That's how they all think and act all the time. And it's like, well, we can do whatever we want because they don't believe us. And so they do because we don't. I've been around the block a few times on the politic things. I've been acquiring knowledge my entire life about a lot of different things. I'm trying to share the knowledge. That's why I do this podcast a few times a week. So far, I'm failing miserably at it. I can get 1,000 views on a video or a post, 3 shares. Really? Come on, people. You got to do better. Got to do better. You have to learn. I know that's a horrible thing to say. And I know a lot of you people think you know everything about everything. There's nothing else you can learn. And then go, oh, there's that guy on that podcast again. He's telling me something I haven't heard of that before. So he must be a liar. He must be an idiot because if he was right, I would already know about it. How many people did I just describe? How many of you listening to this relate to what I just said? Sadly, probably most of you. And see, that's a fatal way of thinking. Well, if I don't know what he's saying, if that was true, then I would already know it. Oh, hell, nobody knows everything about everything. Some of us really try to know a lot more. I'm guilty, but I try to share it to help my fellow man because for whatever reason, I care about them. I care about them actually more than they care about themselves. Because if y'all cared about yourselves, would have already united by the tens of millions of people and taken back our government, which you have the legal authority to do. You've already have done that. And honestly, Trump would be back in the White House. We'd have a whole lot of prisoners down in Gitmo right now. A lot. And we'd be building probably some platforms with 13 steps going up to the top. Probably have a few of those built by now, too. If you don't know what that reference is, God, look it up. So we got a lot to do, people, and we're not doing it. We, again, our lack of action is putting Trump's life in peril. We are telegraphing to the left, you can do whatever you want to President Trump, and there's not a damn thing we're going to do. Because so far you've done nothing, which tells the bullies, keep on doing that. They can do whatever they want to us. Imagine if there was tens of millions of us united, not in another Tea Party per se, because, they kind of, they weren't aggressive enough. They didn't go about it the right way. And that's why I broke off with them after about a year. And because they just, God bless them, their heart was in the right place. Their head wasn't. And sometimes if you lead with that really good heart, it gets you in trouble. You got to understand the enemy, which means you got to get inside their sick, twisted, demented heads, which is sick. I understand that 99% of the people, they don't want to go there. I've been there. I didn't have a choice in it. I was born into it and surrounded by it my entire damn life. So, does it hurt to go in their heads? Oh, God, yes. But I've been there. I'm going there any day I want. It's a very spiritually weakening experience every time I do that, because this is a spiritual war we're fighting. And Satan's side is winning. Can we defeat Satan permanently? No. But we sure as hell can slow him down. And that's one other thing I want to talk about is our Christians who claim to also be patriots. All you're doing is praying, and there's nothing wrong with praying. I do it multiple times a day. And but you're coming from it in a different perspective than I am. You're praying that soon Jesus will come back and, Jesus wins in the end. Yes, he does. We don't know when that is. Could be tomorrow, next week, could be another 1,000 years from now. We don't know. Nobody knows the date, time, and hour. But you all are acting like you do. Stop it. Because you don't. So until that trumpet blows, okay, the trumpet I'm talking about, you all need to be putting on the armor of God, pray for guidance and help, put on the armor of God and fight Satan. When I'm saying fight, you don't need to pick up arms, not at this point. If you acted now in unison and strategically, we could stop them in 30 days. We could unite, air our grievances, and order them out of office. Every one of them, which is our right and our duty to do. Have none of you ever read our founding documents? Probably not. Now would be a good time to start. Really good time to start. So we're putting him in peril. We're putting ourselves in peril because we're sitting on our asses and we're doing nothing but praying that Jesus comes back any day now and saves our ass. That's pathetic. I really don't think Jesus is going to come back and save our ass when we're not doing anything to save ourselves first. Maybe, that process will speed up a little bit if he looks down here and sees his people standing up to Satan in a meaningful way, actually pushing and fighting back. I'd imagine that make him pretty happy. No. Y'all just keep using Jesus as a reason not to fight Satan. That's what you're really doing. Well, we'll pray. We can't do anything. God wants it in. Well, we'll just wait. Every time I say that out loud, it pisses me off because I'm right, because I see it 100 times every day when I sign in. People praying, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. We can just pray and Jesus wins in the end. So that's they absolve themselves of any responsibility because Jesus wins in the end. Bullshit. He does win in the end. That's not the bullshit. The bullshit is you all using Jesus as an excuse not to get on your own 2 feet, not to stand and fight against evil. That's just crazy. And again, I'm a very spiritual person and I feel this stuff. I've always have felt it. I was raised in a very evil environment. People who know me, they know this is true. And I had to learn how to survive it. I had to learn to eventually how to defeat it for my own survival. So I'm just trying to share this with you. It can be done. I'm an example of it being done. And some days it's a struggle because of the things I've seen and learned and the things that have been done to me. But I'm still here. And if anybody should have ever given up and just sit down and stayed out of it, it would be me. God didn't make me that way. I have to believe that I was put through literal hell for a reason. I learned an awful lot. Man, the shit I have seen with my own eyes would scare most people or drive them insane. I promise you that. People who know me, they know what I'm talking about. And there's some things that I saw growing up that I haven't told a lot of people, because I tell you what, it just comes back to like I'm there all over again. It's horrific things that I've seen, things that have been done to me. And you all have the power to prevent that from happening to yourselves, your children, and your grandchildren. But you're not doing it. Those things will happen to your family. If you don't give a damn about yourselves, think about your kid. Look at your kids right now. I don't care what age they are. Look at your grandkids. Do you want to consign them to that fate? Because this is exactly what you are doing. Blaming it all on, well, God comes back in the end and he wins, so we don't need to do anything. Wow. And I don't hear enough preachers out there talking about this either. They need to be getting on their flocks about, hey, folks, yeah, what this guy says. I don't go to organized religions anymore because they've never done anything but let me down. You can't speak to them about demonic entities. You can't talk to them about angelic entities when you've had experience firsthand with both. I've tried this. One preacher, to his credit, years ago, he listened and he didn't criticize and he didn't judge. And we had a good conversation. And I still remember to this day what he told me. I'm still waiting for him to be right. I pray that he is right. But you can't tell this to your normal pastor. Because, they'll preach it and they'll read it and they'll preach it to their congregation, but have they necessarily experienced it? There, no. Some of us actually have experienced these things. And for those of us who have, we come at things from a completely different perspective. It's not just faith, it's fact. Because we've experienced these things. Real experience with demonic forces and even angelic forces. They both exist. They both are after you every single day. I've always known about it because I was raised in just a god-awful environment. So I'm trying to share my passion and my spiritual experiences with you guys the best that I can, without getting too graphic about it. But there's a war for us. There always has been. And it's coming to a head eventually. We do not know when. So you're all going to have to stand up and put that armor of God on and fight against Satan, his demons, the DemonCrat party. They're his chosen ones. He also has a chosen religion. Just look east. You'll find it. He has a chosen religion as well. Jesus will be coming for that. Yes, he will be. But we don't know when. So in the meantime, it's up to us to stand in the breach and fight against Satan. Smartly and clever ways to do it, because you can beat him. You can slow him the shit down. I've done it my entire life. And I got to imagine maybe I'm still here because God smiles down on me because I'm a warrior. I don't stop. And I'm not stopping now. This is another way I'm trying to reach out and get people to start doing. And, I reach out to people with massive, massive voices, people you would know their names if I mentioned them to you, which I'm not going to, because I'm not going to give them any more press than what they already always get. Plus, I'm more than a little pissed off at them. We're in a war. We're in a spiritual war. So people, pray, get up, and join me in the fight. It's a fight that we can win. We can save this country. We can't save the whole world, but we can save this country. This is what Donald Trump wants to do. Wish he'd have done it the first time around, because he got a lot of bad advice from career politicians. Of course, he never read any of my tweets, but we've got to battle, people. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. Ignoring what's happening only is making it worse. Okay? So I'm tired. I've covered a lot of territory. Hopefully, you agree with what I've been talking to you about. Hopefully, you'll share this with a lot of people. But folks, we have work to do. Donald Trump cannot save our ass. It has to be us. He's taking the slings and arrows for us right now. He looks behind him and he doesn't see anybody. There's nobody there. All of our talkers on the right, you know who you are. Quit fundraising off of this, off of the demise of our country. Stop selling your books and having your conventions and making money. Stop it. Unite your people under one umbrella with defined strategies. Again, I've already defined strategies for you all. So you guys on the right, you big talkers, you don't have to think about how to do it. I've already done that and shared that information. But you need to bring your formidable audiences all together under one umbrella, and here's the strategy, and we implement it at one time. Just as the left is after us every day, something always keeping you off balance. We can do the same thing and be very effective at it. More effective than what they are. You want to know why? Because they don't know how to deal with it. They've never had to. They've never dealt with us fighting back. They've never been kept off balance. It's a glorious thing to see when your enemy is shot for the first time. They don't know where it's coming from. They don't know how to respond because they've never experienced it. Now you're beginning to own them. You will get to the point where you can manipulate and control them to have them do what you want to do in a reaction that you have already preconceived is going to happen, just like they do to us. Except we'll be smarter at it. Got a lot of experience at this, and I know you all don't have it, and you don't need it. You need to unite. There's always leaders someplace. Some of us are spiritual leaders. And that's where I come in. I don't have time for your little woe is me excuses. And I'm not the one to drop my pants and bend over and grab my ankles. I'm not that kind of guy either. So we need warriors. We need them like yesterday. The clock is ticking. The sand in the hourglass is damn near empty. And it's up to us to flip that hourglass back around so it's full again. Have a good rest of the day.